Alright, first off, I'd like to say all praises to Yahweh Hashem Shai, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Stone, and shalom to the brothers in the highways and byways pushing this word in all sincerity and truth, the believers, the sisters, the helps. Alright, this is Brother Ira from the James Jamaica camp. And before we start this lesson, I want to say the brothers just keep pushing, right? Every day we go up on YouTube is like you can't keep up with the amount of lessons being pushed out there, for starting from the elder apostles on down. And for those who wanna start push it, well, you need to get in line and start push as well. The laborers, the labor or the harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few, right? So I'm coming, brothers, and doing such a great job. Whether as I say, high in the spirit or low in the spirit, whatever lot you fall into, whether it's a 3-minute video or you put up them live streams or you do a 10-minute, 15-minute show, just keep pushing, right? So this lesson is based upon knowledge, understanding, and wisdom, right? That's something I really think on about a couple of weeks now. Some of this, I hope we can do an edifying lesson, basically going into the 3 words and the essence behind it, right? And hopefully you brothers are edified. Now we're gonna start off with the word knowledge, and let's see how it goes. So this is from the Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia, right? The word knowledge, it says, is a familiarity, awareness, or understanding of something, such as facts, information, descriptions, or skills, which is acquired through experience or education by perceiving, discovering, or learning. Now, you see the word understanding also in the definition, but that is a form of knowledge, right? So we'll get into that later. So overall is when you're familiar or aware about something, right? You have certain facts, right? And for example, you know what's a wheel, right? Or you know what's a hammer because you've seen it before. Or let's say you never see a hammer before, and you see one and you ask yourself, what is this? And you say it's a hammer. So automatically you know what a hammer is, right? So you know what it is. That doesn't necessarily mean that you understand its purpose, and that means that you know how to apply it, right, in the right scenario, or how to apply it the right way, right? It says knowledge can refer to a theoretical or practical understanding of a subject, right? It can be implicit, as with practical skills or expertise, or explicit as with the theoretical understanding of a subject. So you can know things by how you basically use them, or are basically, as you say, oh, you're aware with them, you're familiar with it, right? Or you can just understand it from a theoretical standpoint. So you get the facts and information, and then when you're aware that, then you say, all right, so based upon this, we can use this to do that, or this is used in this case, or that is used in that case. We know that, but you won't understand why, right? It says in philosophy, the study of knowledge is epistemology. Epistemology, right? The philosopher Plato famously defined knowledge as justified truth, belief, right? Skip through all of that. Um, it says knowledge acquisition involves complex cognitive process, perception, communication, and reasoning, while knowledge is also said to be related to the capacity of acknowledgement in human beings. So overall, it's just you being aware or familiar with something, or you can acknowledge something. That's like we said the example. You don't know what a hammer is. You see it for the first time. You ask what is it. You're told it's a hammer. So you know that it's a hammer, right? Now going from a more, what I say now, a softer example or softer definition, right? It says the fact or condition of knowing something with familiarity gained through experience or association, right? Acquaintance with or understanding of science, art, or technique, right? So based on the first one, the fact of knowing or being familiar to or with something through experience or association, right? Second definition, the fact or condition of being aware of something. See, most of them also say the same thing, but just to help push the point, it says range of one's information or understanding. Exactly, we know based upon the amount of information we have and the amount of understanding we have on it. As we say, understanding is also a form of knowledge, right? It says um, the sum of what is known, right? Body of truth, information, principles acquired by humankind, a branch of learning. All right, cool. So we know something. So as we say, we know that it's a hammer. We've been told it's a hammer, right? Now, understanding. It says understanding is the psychological process related to an abstract or physical object, such as a person, situation, or message, whereby one is able to think about it and use concepts to to deal adequately with that subject, right? So say it can be an abstract or a physical object. So meaning say you can understand a situation, you can understand a person, you can understand a message, right? You can understand, as case in point, the hammer. So we understand the hammer. Why? Because we have knowledge that it have a flat side, right? And it have a part that they used to pick, right? Don't know what it's called, right? So that's a range of information, and you can even go and you thinking on it and observe, you realize that look, the flat part is used for pounding, and the other part is used to pick or pry away something, right? And it says the last part says such as a person, situation, or message whereby one is able to think about it and use concepts to deal adequately with the object. So because everything have concepts are like ideas or topics, right? And then within the ideas and topics of that concept, we have sub concepts and subtopics and sub concepts, right? So for example, the whole thing is a hammer, it's the concept of hammer. Then you have the part the concept of pounding, the concept of prying away, the concept of the handle, right? And then you go down and so it be all as the first one said, it depends upon your range of knowledge. And then it can also be like where you experience while using it. So you know that you use the round part for pound, but you might not fully, or you understand that you use the round part for pound, but you probably don't understand why. And the other part the prayer way, but you don't understand why. You just understand, say you just use it and it do the job, right? So it says understanding is a relation between the knower and the object of understanding. So it's when I understand something, it's how it's a relationship with they have with whether the situation, the person, or the message, or the thing, right? So that a way you understanding lie and how you adequately apply the, what you know based upon what you think with the object, right? Based upon what you think upon the object and how you apply it, right? It says understanding implies an abilities and dispositions with respect to an object of knowledge sufficient to support intelligent behavior, right? So you take the hammer, you now go use the prying part for pound and the pound part for pry, right? But then I was say, look here, that this doesn't make sense. Why we use the hammer, right? It says understanding is often, though not always, related to learning concepts. Sometimes also the theory or theories associated with those concepts. However, a person may have a good ability to predict the behavior of an object, animal, or system, and therefore may, in some sense, understand it without being necessarily familiar with the concepts or theories associated with the object. So, yeah, you might be able to even pick it up and use it without being told that this is the part of pound. As I said, I really know the whole thing of armor, but we know if you use it. You just know that this is the handle, this is used for pry, this is used for pound. So you might just take it and observe it and know if you use it without being told about each and every single concept of it, right? So that is also a form of understanding, right? So it can be two-way, right? It says they may indeed have developed their own distinct concepts and theories which may be equivalent, better or worse than the recognized standard concepts and theories of their culture. So based upon things where you already know and concepts and theories that you already know, then you might be able to apply it onto the armor. But sometimes it work out we do it and it seems like it work, but you have error in it, like you use it a particular way. Let's say you use a hammer, it's used for pounding, but you try to use a hammer to break down a wall, right? When really and truly you need a sledge, which is actually a form of hammer, but let's say you use a nail hammer to try break apart a building, right? That are you using the standard concept and we're using it in a bad way or in a worse way, while you can use it from, for example, to maybe straighten a nail, or straighten a piece of metal or something like that with that it is able to handle without damaging it, right? So the range of understanding is all dependent upon your observation and the relationship between you and the object. Whether you already know the applied concepts to the object, or you basically extrapolate or come up develop concepts based upon your knowledge, whether people call quote unquote common sense, right? Now this is as I say, data from the Wikipedia. Now we're going to the Miriam. As I say, we just want help if you build it up, right? It says understand from Merriam-Webster. It says to grasp the meaning of, to grasp the reasonableness of, right? This behavior is hard to understand. Exactly, understand the reason behind things, understand the meaning, what the meaning of the round part, what the meaning of the prime part, right? It says to have thorough or technical acquaintance with or expertness in the practice of. So basically understanding finance, right? You understand the technical, or you go through the are acquainted with the practice of a certain thing. It says to be thoroughly familiar with the character or propen, propensities of, right? Understand children, right? So I understand them character and propensities, and the word propensities basically mean behavior. So you're familiar with the characteristics and the behaviors of whatever the item is, right? It says to accept as fact or truth, or regard as plausible without utter certainty. We kind of skip the one there. It says to interpret one of a number of possible ways. Exactly, because when you really understand something, then you understand that it can be used in many different ways, right? Based upon how acquainted you are with it, right? And its concepts, and how developed your theories are based upon the object, right? Now the wisdom is as I say, experience is also knowledge. Let me put this out there. You have knowledge where you get facts, and also it can be experience, right? So you will know that you will do something, but you continue to do something else, and you realize that things happen, like, why am I always do this? And then you start think upon it, and then when you start thinking, you say, oh, this is why I'm doing it. That means you understand why you do it, and then you can adjust or you apply it, right? So going in the word wisdom, it says wisdom, or Papiens, if I pronounce this right, is the ability to think and act using knowledge, experience, understanding, common sense, and insight. So it says to what? To think and act, right? So it's not only going in retrospect and thinking about the object or the situation, but also acting, meaning you apply the right thought, or no, apply the right action to what to the thought, right? As long as it is plausible, right? It says wisdom has been regarded as one of four cardinal virtues, and as a virtue it is a habit or disposition to perform the action with the highest degree of adequacy under any given circumstances, with the limitation of error in any given action. Exactly. So as a matter of fact, in the scriptures, let me see my Bible in here, right? 1 second, Akim, right? This is Ecclesiastes 8 verse 5. It says verse 6, Lakia. It says, because to every purpose there is time and judgment, therefore the misery of man is great upon him, right? So that is it. When you have all this the wisdom, you can apply perform an action with the highest degree of adequacy and circumstances. You also say there's a time and place for everything under the sun, right? You also have a scripture in the Apocrypha where it said, hardly do we guess aright, right? So all of that show that the wisdom is basically the application of what you know and what you understand, right? And the only way to have wisdom is basically to think upon things, right? And even to also self-check, right? To constantly check yourself if you want to have wisdom in how to conduct yourself and look back at things and examine things to know how wisdom and how to apply, because you know that this thing behave this way, right? You you act this way when the situation come up, right? It is as simple as that. So it is turning the knowledge into understanding and your understanding into wisdom, right? That are the process in every given situation with every given thing, right? So that is where how we learn better. But there's one way to do it, but we soon get there, right? Which is, it says this implies a position of knowledge or seeking knowledge to apply to given circumstances. So right, so it is given seeking knowledge and into every given circumstance, because as we say, understanding is also a form of knowledge, a higher form of knowledge, because it's actually you know the thing and then you get more information, but it's not just on the face value. It's not merely being, it's no, you're knowing the thing and knowing its purpose, right? That is understanding. Knowing is just being acquainted with it. Understanding is knowing the purpose, right? Or being familiar with its purpose, grasping the purpose, and then wisdom is applying it, right? So I read this again. It says this implies a position of knowledge or seeking of knowledge to apply to given circumstance. This involves an understanding of people, objects, events, situations, and the willingness as well as the ability to apply perception, judgment, and action in keeping the understanding of what is optimally course of action. What is the optimal course of action? Right, exactly, because we understand something and don't apply it. We know something and don't apply it. We know something and don't understand it. We understand something and still don't apply it, or still don't know how to apply it. That means that the understanding is limited, right? So you're still, in a sense, in the knowing stage, right? It often requires controls of one's emotional reactions, right? And it says passion, but that are when you overly zealous, right? Or overly passionate, because passion within its right um, measure is a good thing, right? It says it often requires control of one's emotional reactions so that the universal principle of reason prevails to determine one's action. So it's all about when you're acting with wisdom, your emotions out of the way, right? And that are the thing why even in it's true to kind of hard to conduct yourself, because what the spirit of fight against the flesh, right? The flesh emotional, but the spirit want to do the right thing, but because you get emotional, you don't apply the understanding, and therefore you're not walking in wisdom, right? And all that we fall short of that, and that's something we need to build upon, right? It says, in short, wisdom is a disposition to find the truth coupled with an optimum judgment as to what action should be taken. Exactly, because ultimately wisdom is truth, right? And the scripture tell you that, because what the truth come from Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, right? And it says with an optimum judgment, right, as to what action should be taken, because we understand something also and apply it the wrong time, right? You do a good thing at a wrong time, or say the right thing at the wrong time. Just like in scripture will tell you about telling a tale out of season will basically make you look like a fool of paraphrasing, or say a wise sentence in a fool's mouth will not be regarded. Things of that nature, yo. So it's all based upon knowing how to apply that. That is true wisdom, yo, to apply it, right? Now, no, this kind of go over me. You want to go, but my big brothers be with me a little bit. It says wisdom. It says accumulated. This is ability to discern inequalities and relationships. Example, the word discern basically means to separate or distinguish, right? So ability to distinguish the inner qualities of something, and the relationship about those inner qualities, also with the relationship with things outside, right? Like for example, in the jungle, understanding the inner qualities of a predator, understanding the inner qualities of a prey, and how the qualities coincide with each other, and also understanding the relationship between predator and prey, and why it must why it is in place, and how it keeps the balance. For example, masters and servants, food, and water, and nourishment of the body, right? All these things, everything in our life here. That's why scripture says, "He that is spiritual, judge it all things," right? Because all things are spiritual, where wisdom and knowledge should be learned from everything, right? The scripture say, in Ecclesiastes 1 say, all things are full of labor, right? So they always inside, and there's always more judgment, and that will help you become a better judge. That will help you be a wise person. Yeah, and just to add the definition, right? When you go on the Merriam-Webster and scroll down, and it tells about synonyms, discussion of wisdom. There's a part that says judgment. It says implies sense, tempered and refined by experience, training, and maturity, right? So it says implied sense and judgment far above average. So there you go. It says when the senses are tempered and refined by experience, training, and maturity, that are already the knowledge and understanding we get, and you being able to, your senses that tempered, we know to apply them, right? That's like the scripture say, strong meat belongeth to them that are full age, right? Who have their senses exercised in discerning both good and evil, roughly paraphrasing, right? Right? Now this is article that I found on it's philosci-fi.com, right? Um and just a quick part out of it. It says, with the internet, it is now relatively easy for a reasonable, diligent person to quickly become knowledgeable in virtually any field of his or her choosing. And we also know that understanding can come from a theoretical standpoint and also a practical standpoint, right? So as we say, even with working with it, we can understand how them work, but still don't know how to apply them, right? Properly. It says, we are literally awash in a sea of information, but having a hammer and knowing how to use it are two entirely different propositions. A hammer is a moral. Whether it is used for good or ill depends entirely on the wielder, right? And that our next thing to you, using things the wrong way. Like for example, as you say, a hammer, let's say a nail hammer, right? It is used to pound nails, as well as to remove nails, and pry away wood and things have to do with building, right? And then a person take a hammer, and hit it in, use it as a weapon to kill somebody. Well, it show that them may use it for it is its intended purpose. Even though on a different level it is used to strike, they might just exploit that and then just use it as a weapon. So yes, it can be used as a weapon also, on a higher level, but for the overall concept of what it was made for, was building, right? It says, sadly, history is a lengthy record of harms wrought by knowledgeable, well-meaning people who lacked wisdom. Exactly. That's why even sometimes a person might feel like them are the good, but them are the bad. Like Saul, right? It was right, nothing wrong with doing sacrifice, but the Lord said, look here, kill everything. To obey is better than sacrifice. So even though in a sense he meant well, him still do evil, even though the act of sacrifice is not an evil thing, right? So it's all it's a very it is a simple concept, but you have to really dig into it, because it has a bit of complexity also, right? So this is Proverbs 1, right? So Proverbs 1 verse starting at 2, it says, to know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, and judgment, and equity, to give subtlety to the simple, to the young man knowledge and discretion. A wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsel. To understand a proverb and the interpretation thereof, right? Exactly, messages, right? The words of the wise and their dark sayings. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fool despise wisdom and instruction, right? So forget all the knowledge and wisdom and understanding of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. It starts with the fear of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And basically, once you fear him, you beg for mercy, you beg for faith, you beg for wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and you basically study these scriptures, right, in all sincerity and truth, teach, and with all aspects of life, you'll be able to apply yourself as a wise man, right? As a wise man of the Lord, right? Walking in wisdom. So ultimately, the scripture wisdom is found in these scriptures, right? Really hope this was edifying, right? And I hope brothers got the message. So with that, we'd like to say all praises to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and shalom to the brothers in highways and byways pushing this word now in sincerity and truth. Sisters, the believers, the helps. Shalom.